I really appreciate your coming. My name is Cheryl John Cox. I'm the Executive Director of Buckeye Forest Council, but I am here today as a member of the No Frack Ohio Coalition. This is a coalition of about 50 groups that are getting together and asking for a moratorium on horizontal hydraulic fracturing so that our state can ask for additional safeguards to protect human health and the safety of our environment. Thank you again very much for coming. At this time, I would like to invite Representative Teresa Fedor up to make a brief statement about her concerns. Representative Fedor has really been leading the charge, asking questions and looking at the scientific information and providing that information to her fellow legislators. So we're very honored to have her here today. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you for coming and for really spearheading or being the tip of the spear on what we need to do to protect our environment, protect public health. And you know, this is a new subject for me, but I quickly understand what's really going on, and it doesn't take long. You know, when you start really asking, I think, basic questions of what we're doing in the state of Ohio, and I'm looking at it from a perspective of a budget issue right now and dealing with House Bill 133, and that is dealing with the drilling in our state parks. And when I share information with average citizens and just want their input, they're surprised when they find out that oil and gas drilling can happen on 99.5% of Ohio's landscape, not covered by water, including all private property, and even overwhelmingly majority of Ohio's public lands. They can already do it. They can even already do it on Wayne National Forest and Ohio State Forests and Ohio's state wildlife areas. The oil and gas industry can already do this, 99.5%. They want the 5% that they don't have, and that is our state parks. So through that, what I believe is a short-sighted vision for the state of Ohio in using oil and gas revenues to fund the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, we're finding out just what unconventional hydraulic fracturing of oil drilling is all about. And we're finding out by the day that in New York, they decided to impose a moratorium on unconventional hydraulic fracturing. Arkansas is experiencing an increased occurrence of earthquakes, which many believe are caused by the unconventional horizontal hydraulic fracturing. These are red flags. States that have been quick to adopt this unconventional, and I want to keep saying it, unconventional hydraulic horizontal fracturing practices are now slowing down, and they're taking another look. This is a red flag to Ohio to also slow down and take another look. Let's not open those barn doors. Other states already did it. In fact, the Attorney General of New York gave the United States government a warning and said, if you don't do something to investigate what's going on with this unconventional drilling, I'm going to sue you for in the state of New York. That's a huge red flag for all of the states in America, to take a look at what we don't know. What we don't know, for goodness sakes, we can't know, because the industry is not required to identify the chemicals of the fracking fluid, which they're saying is just a little bit of salt and water and a few other things. But then what happens under the ground, I've discovered, is what we don't know. And that fluid is coming back up. The flowback fluid is coming back up to the surface. And Pennsylvania has now decided May 19th is a deadline that you will no longer take that flowback fluid and put it in our water treatment plants in Pennsylvania. You are now bound from not doing this type of water treatment, because they're finding out that this unconventional oil drilling is not really being treated because they don't know what the chemicals are. So what happened in Pennsylvania, they treated, the water treatment plant treated the flowback They put it into their surface water, and guess what? Their surface water is full of carcinogens, all kinds of dangerous chemicals that are going into the water tables in Pennsylvania. Well, they didn't know until after they released that surface water that there was something wrong. So guess what? We have two new permits in the state of Ohio, one in Steubenville and one in East Liverpool, who want to take Pennsylvania's poisonous flowback water and treat it. Warren can already do that, and they're excited because they're going to get new business. Then in Ohio, we put it into oil, deep well caverns. So there's a lot that we don't know about this new unconventional drilling that we're going to have answers before we open up and really put at stake our state parks. And that affects 11 million people. 11 million people expect their state parks to be pristine, gorgeous, protected, something that they pay into for our tax dollars, and they expect to have the enjoyment. So we have a responsibility to the future of the state of Ohio. And as ranking member of the Ohio Agricultural Committee, I joined other committee members in sending questions about allowing drilling in parks to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. These questions have not been answered. The director was right upstairs. Until they are, I cannot simply rubber stamp a bill that proposes such drastic changes with such little regard for safety of Ohioans. And lastly, wildlife areas and land in Ohio, both private and public, is already open to drilling. They can already do this. State forests, again, Wayne National State Forest, Ohio's largest single public landmass, are already open to drilling. There's no need to open up state parks, nature preserves, historic sites in our only wilderness area to operations that are predominantly and potentially detrimental. And once these last vestiges of nature are ruined, there will be no going back. And we have a total of, I believe, 6 or 7 pages, 2, 4, 6, 7 pages of questions to the director of the Department of Natural Resources and how he's going to operate this very unwise idea to drill in our state parks. And we've only drilled maybe 2 unconventional horizontal fracking wells in the state of Ohio. And he guaranteed that it was all going to be safe. Don't worry, we do everything correct. Well, around the rest of the United States, they're finding out that this isn't really true. And we've only had 2 wells under our belt. So how do they really know? There's not enough answers to the questions that we have here today, folks. And I'm asking you to join me in at least absolutely saying no drilling on our state parks. 75% of the people in Ohio don't want this. They say, what? They want to drill there? Well, why would we want to go? This is absolutely the wrong direction and a devastating future for the state of Ohio if we don't stand up now and fight this. And we have a lot of answers that we expect from the department and the leaders of this state on what's going on right now with drilling in Ohio on the private property. So with that, I thank you for your time and attention, and you need to go back home and go to your legislators and talk to them, ask them where they stand on this issue. And I think the whole issue of we already know what to do with hydraulic drilling in Ohio. That may be true. That's only for the horizontal drilling. Maybe for the vertical drilling and horizontal drilling that has not been fracked yet, which means the explosives haven't been given the last button that they need to push before they do the horizontal fracking. So I think there was a little bit of disingenuous information going on up there, and to say don't worry about it, we know what we're doing, but by golly, I know for a fact they don't know what they're doing. So thank you very much.
I'd like to ask all the protesters come up and stand behind Representative Fedor.